that's going to make Far Cry 4, I think, that people are going to gravitate towards, the thing that we tried to bring in is, you think about the value of bringing co-op into the living world, right? We want to make sure it's not a mode, that it's easy for you to invite a friend in, to come in, and that the two of you together can take over an outpost that's now a fortress, that you can be riding elephants, that you can be basically jumping off of mountains, wingsuiting in. I think when you think about the fractal of fun that we're bringing to Far Cry, you're going to be able to play the game the way you want to play it. You're going to be able to meet crazy, interesting characters like Peg and Min. You're going to be in a completely different environment. I mean, you're going to be up in the Himalayas. You're going to be able to grapple up. And if you decide that you just want to go, just take the day and go backpacking and go wingsuiting or base jumping, do it. Do it in Far Cry 4.
I hate when things get out of control.
I think when you think about Peg and Min, and maybe do a comparison to Boss from Far Cry 3, I think that they're very different, right? I mean, Boss was very much physical. He was aggressive, he was in your face, he was almost a bully in a lot of cases. And every time you saw him, you were like, well, okay, take it easy, calm down, relax. Peg and Min's very different. The very first time that you meet Peg and Min, he steps off the helicopter, he decimates somebody in front of you, and then he turns and looks at you and goes, oh, it's you, this is great. It's you, we're gonna be buddies, we're gonna be best friends. Come with me, this is gonna be amazing, right? And I think the player's gonna go, okay, I guess, here we go. And everybody has that friend in their past that was a really good friend, but bad for them. That's the type of person Peg and Min is. When we build a place in Far Cry, we know that we want it to be on a frontier, right? We know that we want it to be rough tools. We know that we want it to be something completely different that you or I would be able to experience. So that sends us to very specific locales in the world. We wanted a place where you could weaponize an elephant. We wanted a place where you could be at 12,000 feet. We wanted a place where it was snowy and rough and where you could climb the mountains. And when you start to make that list, the places that can support that kind of drop down pretty quickly. But we also want a place with deep, deep culture and charm, right? That the world is charming and you can walk around and you can experience. We take that very, very seriously. We also take it seriously to the point where we want to send people over there. So we sent devs over to the Himalayas, and the first thing they did is they came back and they said, guys, it's not right, it doesn't feel it, I'm not feeling it. The scale is off, the mountains are huge, it's big, big sky. You can feel the culture, you can feel the mystique of it, you can hear it, it's everywhere. And so we had to rethink how we're gonna do it. We want it to feel credible, we want it to feel right, but we also want it to feel familiar without poking fun. So our goal is, you can't find Karat on a map. It's not a real place. It's an homage to some places, but it's our own country. It has its own rules, it has its own characters, and it's a completely unique experience. The thing that we really learned from Far Cry 3 is that the star of the show for Far Cry 3 wasn't the story and the characters. The star of the show was the living world. It was the toy. Everybody just went out and they did their own thing and they had a great time, and they would come back to the story and they would enjoy it and they would love Boss and they would love all the different characters. But where they spent the majority of their time was out playing with the toy in the living world, in the anecdote factory. So for us, we want to give you more of that. That's part of why we bring co-op into the anecdote factory. That's part of why we give you new toys. Something as simple as just being able to drive and shoot at the same time. Something as simple as being able to do a takedown from vehicle to vehicle. We give you the grapple hook so that you can climb. We give you wingsuits so that you and a buddy can go take over an outpost. We make it so that the outpost that you think you know from Far Cry 3 is now a giant fortress, and if you get too close, it's going to set off an alarm, and that alarm is going to have mortars that come over at you, and it can attack. So everything that you think you know is subtly different, is sort of turning, and you've got to try new things with new friends to have a new experience.
All right, let's do this.
You know, we had some options when we started to talk about bringing co-op into the experience, and it was tricky. It's a tricky conversation because you have the purists who want to make sure that the autonomy of the single-player experience is kept sacred. Don't mess with my single player, is what a lot of people are saying. And we're like, we hear that, we understand. So our goal was, look, if you want to play the story, if you want to go through and you want to do all the missions and you want to meet Peg and Min and you want to live that part of the game, go ahead and do it, and we're going to protect that. But if you decide that you want to just go out in the open world and you want to call up your buddy and go, hey, you want to do some hunting? You want to do that on top of elephants? You want to go up and go wingsuiting together? Let's do it. You can do that too. Far Cry 4 is coming out November 18th. You're going to love it.
You